Donald Trump is feeling the sting of betrayal today as a Republican has joined Democrats to curtail one of his most egregious abuses of power, and I have the trending story and more for you next. I'm Dan and welcome to Occupy Democrats. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button to receive all of our daily reports about Trump's abuses of power and those who are working to thwart him. Trump's abuse of the pardon power is one of those stories that would rock any other administration, but in his world it's just another Monday or Tuesday. Let's begin with someone who has been sounding the pardon alarm every week. Liz Oyer was a Justice Department pardon attorney who was fired by Trump, and this is one of her latest reports. Have a listen to her thoughts on the biggest pardon of all, and on the other side, I'll share the Republican lawmaker and his action against Trump today.
Hey, everybody. This morning, Jeffrey Epstein's partner in crime, Ghislaine Maxwell, was supposed to testify before Congress to answer questions about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, but she refused. Through her attorney, Maxwell invoked her Fifth Amendment right, which means her right not to incriminate herself. But that's not all. Maxwell's attorney read a prepared statement in which he said that Ghislaine Maxwell knows that Donald Trump is completely innocent of any wrongdoing, and she will testify to that if he grants her a pardon. Honestly, I have no words. Will Donald Trump pardon her? He might. He's been asked about it numerous times in the past, and he refuses to say that he won't do it. It would be absolutely shocking and wrong and depraved for the president to pardon a convicted sex trafficker. But Donald Trump is just the type of person who might do that. This story just keeps getting worse and more upsetting every day. But that's where we are, and I will keep you posted.
Be sure and follow Lawyer Oyer on your favorite social and share her important work. And if you want more on the pardon madness, please stick around until the end for another report that you have to hear to believe. And now for our featured story about GOP betrayal, as explained by Axios. Republican backs push to limit Trump pardon power. A proposed constitutional amendment that would give Congress the power to block presidential pardons gained its first House Republican co-sponsor on Monday. It's a stark display of GOP defiance against President Trump, whose pardons have been the subject of bipartisan backlash in several cases. The president began his second term by pardoning thousands of January 6th defendants, including many who were charged with assaulting law enforcement during the 2021 Capitol riot. Most recently, Trump pardoned 5 former NFL players who were convicted of financial and drug-related crimes. Representative Johnny Olszewski, Democrat Maryland, who is leading the amendment, announced Monday that Representative Don Bacon, Republican Nebraska, has signed on as the first Republican co-sponsor of the Pardon Integrity Act. The amendment would create a process whereby 20 House members and 5 senators could force a vote on nullifying a presidential pardon, which would then require a 2/3 majority in both chambers. This amendment creates a narrow common-sense check to ensure the pardon power is used fairly and responsibly, regardless of who occupies the White House, Olszewski said in a statement. Presidential pardons are an important constitutional authority, but like all powers held by the executive branch, these authorities benefit from the appropriate checks and balances the Constitution envisioned, Bacon said in a statement. Across multiple administrations, we've seen legitimate questions raised about how this authority has been used. At the same time, the ability of Congress to provide oversight has weakened. Those are the highlights. For the full story, visit Axios.com. The article concluded with a reminder that a constitutional amendment requires 2/3 majorities in both chambers and ratification by 38 states, making it a long shot. But the tide is turning on Trump, so let's retain hope. And I'll give Robert Reich the final word with a compelling look at the Trump pardon scandal that flies full throttle under the radar.
It's a wonderful time to be a criminal. If you cozy up to Donald Trump, that is. Trump has been using his presidential power to shield his allies and donors from legal trouble, while his Department of Justice goes after his political enemies. Is this the same guy?
I am your president of law and order.
Who has he pardoned so far? Trevor Milton, the former CEO of an electric car company, was convicted of securities and wire fraud. During his appeal, he donated heavily to Trump's re-election campaign. Oh, and one of Milton's lawyers was the brother of Pam Bondi, the future U.S. Attorney General. Another pardon was for Todd and Julie Chrisley, fellow reality TV personalities. They were convicted of tax evasion and bank fraud totaling $36 million. Maybe the pardon has something to do with their daughter's speech at the Republican National Convention.
Donald J. Trump has only one conviction that matters, and that is his conviction to make America great again.
Your parents are going to be
free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow.
Next up, Paul Walczak, a nursing home executive who is charged with defrauding the government of millions of dollars, using some of the money to buy himself a yacht. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 18 months in prison. A judge defended the sentence, saying there isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card for wealthy people. Not so fast, Your Honor. Walczak's mother is a major Trump donor who attended a $1 million plate fundraising dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Less than 3 weeks later, Trump signed a full and unconditional pardon for her son. Not only did it keep Walczak out of prison, it got him out of paying $4.4 million in restitution. In fact, Trump's thumb on the scales of justice has erased roughly $1.3 billion in fines and restitution that pardon recipients would have paid their victims and the government. And it's not just individuals either. The Trump administration has paused or dropped investigations into at least 17 corporations that donated to his inauguration fund. You see the pattern? Do something for Trump, and maybe Trump does something for you. Buttering up Trump has proven so lucrative, allies and lobbyists are reportedly receiving multi-million-dollar payouts to get pardon requests in front of the president. One was quoted as saying, "It's like the Wild West. You can basically charge whatever you want." Now, nearly every U.S. president has issued pardons that were controversial, but Trump's pardons almost exclusively go to people serving his political interests. The most extreme examples, Trump's pardon of rioters and violent criminals who participated in the January 6th insurrection, including members of the Proud Boys.
The people of January 6th were treated very unfairly.
Trump is sending a message that you can commit violence as long as it's done in service of him. And who decides which pardons get in front of the president? That would be Ed Martin, Trump's top pardon attorney. Historically, this role at the Justice Department has been non-political, but Martin is a staunch MAGA ally, and Martin isn't just in charge of recommending pardons to Trump. He's also simultaneously serving as head of the Justice Department's new weaponization working group. This group was tasked by Trump with targeting his supposed enemies, including prosecutors who put January 6 criminals behind bars and anyone else viewed as a threat to the MAGA regime. Trump is blatantly weaponizing the justice system to attack his political enemies, while rewarding his crooked allies and those who will commit violence on his behalf. So much for law and order. Understand what's really going on here and help spread the truth.